Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. The Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker, has always been a controversial figure within the Jedi Order. He was always seen as brash and arrogant due to his standing as the Chosen One, a very difficult situation to find one in. Yet, he actually had the skills and experience to back up his lofty attitude. Nearly from the beginning, Anakin proved time and time again his worth on the battlefield, and on many missions as a Jedi Guardian in the wider galaxy. Anakin progressed through his training at an excelled rate due to the point where he was the scorn of the youngling peers. He began his training far after them, and yet grew beyond any of their power extremely quickly. Because of this, the Jedi Council did their best to ensure that he was given no special treatment, and in fact, the Council even tried to prolong his training as an initiate and a Padawan, so that Anakin would not progress too quickly, fearing what it might do to his ego. But Anakin's reputation could not be kept down forever, and soon, Anakin began to itch for the rank of knighthood. Yet, Anakin resented the process he needed to go through in order to attain knighthood. In canon, it's a little vague how Anakin became a Jedi Knight, but in Legends, we get the full story, and it turns out to be quite shocking, and very different than many other Jedi. So today, my friends, let's open up a holocron and discuss the knighting of Anakin Skywalker. Becoming a Jedi Knight is not as easy as many believe, and it carries far more weight than most give it credit. Because the bulk of the Jedi Order is made up of Knights, it's easy to assume that this rank is pretty standard and easily obtained. A lot of emphasis within the lore is placed on the rank of Master because of this. The rank of Knight is often downplayed though, but we remember that the Jedi Knight is the symbol of the Order, and this position is to be held with the utmost respect and allegiance to the light side. The entire goal of a Jedi's life is to be a knight and to serve the galaxy as one of the Watchmen of Peace. There are countless Jedi who go their entire lives without achieving the rank of Master. In fact, most Jedi are not Masters, and many, if not most, die as a Knight. The rank of Master is a distant position most of the time, and is only given to Jedi who truly prove themselves, be it in combat, diplomacy, or special gifts and insights into the Force. The point is, being a knight is no mere stepping stone like being a Padawan is. For Luke Skywalker especially, the rank of Jedi Knight was what it meant to be a real Jedi. By the time of Return of the Jedi, Luke had hit every criteria for knighthood, and definitely had the power and skill to back this up. But according to Yoda, who held a much higher standard, the correct standard in fact, Luke would not be a Jedi Knight until he faced Vader, the ultimate challenge. In Yoda's own words, only then a Jedi will you be. Paying close attention to the wording here, one isn't a real Jedi until they are a Knight. Anakin, though, was somewhat insulted by this idea. He was very proud, and he believed he already met and even surpassed the criteria for being a real Jedi, even before the Battle of Geonosis. In one occasion, Anakin even stated to his master in Obi-Wan that he believed that he could beat Yoda in a lightsaber duel. Again, keep in mind, in the timeline, Anakin is saying this before the events of Attack of the Clones. With all that set aside though, even before Attack of the Clones, Anakin did meet the standard for a normal Jedi Knight, and despite his arrogance, he was not wrong. Even as a Padawan, Anakin's skills and power surpassed a great many within the Order, even some Masters. Anakin made plenty of mistakes to be sure, but that doesn't discount the fact that he faced real horrors and real challenges that would firmly place him steadily as a candidate for what a real Jedi should be. But again, his reputation for recklessness and arrogance caused the Jedi Masters to keep a close eye on the boy. While this isn't a fact that's confirmed, it can be inferred that perhaps the Jedi Council might have tried to slow down Anakin's progression as a Knight, and later, of course, as a Master. Anakin's training moved so quickly that despite being a latecomer to the Jedi Order, he was already assigned to a Master in Obi-Wan Kenobi, foregoing completely the Jedi trials of a youngling test to see if they even qualify to be trained by a Jedi Master in the first place. By this point, Anakin was used to the idea of being ahead of everyone, and this of course went to his head, especially since he always compared himself to his master in Obi-Wan, someone who he considered to be his biggest rival. We first get the idea that Anakin resents going through the Jedi trials when we look into the book The Jedi Path. In the section which speaks of knighthood, Anakin writes this in the margins: "Master Obi-Wan didn't have to pass the formal trials, so I don't see why I should have to." This, of course, is in reference to Kenobi's victory over Darth Maul on Naboo, which rendered him exempt from having to face the Jedi trials. Before we continue though, we should go ahead and talk about what the Jedi trials actually were, and why some exceptions were made for certain Jedi. The trials have been a part of the Order for thousands of years, but they went through many changes as time progressed. The trials were in 5 stages, and once a Padawan entered the trials, any one of these stages could happen to them at any moment. It usually took a matter of days to go through all of the trials, with the Padawans being tested of their skill, courage, spirit, flesh, and finally, insight. The trial of skill was about testing the competency of a Jedi's use of their lightsaber and their wits in a combat setting. The trial of courage establishes a Jedi's fortitude in the face of danger and overwhelming odds. The trial of spirit tests a Jedi's ability to vanquish inner battles and emerge unscathed. The trial of flesh tests a Jedi ability to endure and overcome great physical and mental pain. And finally, the trial of insight tests the Jedi's aptitude for distinguishing reality from illusion through deceptive challenges. Each of these descriptions were taken from the Jedi Path Training Manual, which then goes into more detail about what each of these exams actually look like in great detail. We won't go into that today though, but if you'd like a more detailed video about the Jedi trials, feel free to let us know down below. But this was the traditional way in which a Jedi needed to progress in order to achieve the rank of Knight. However, again, exceptions were made when a Padawan was able to face a significant challenge during their adventures on duty. This could come in the form of just about any feat of notable magnitude, or by the defeat of a powerful enemy such as a Sith. Many Padawans back in the day of the new Sith Wars never had to go through the trials due to their frequent run-ins with Sith on the battlefield. This was because facing an enemy such as a Sith technically checks off each one of the boxes, hitting all of them in skill, courage, spirit, flesh, and insight. Considering all these would be tested if a Padawan were to engage such an opponent by themselves. Qui-Gon Jinn, a Jedi Master, had died at the hands of Darth Maul right in front of Obi-Wan. A young Padawan Kenobi, though, defeated Darth Maul, being the first Jedi to kill a Sith in nearly 1,000 years, and impressively doing so without falling to the dark side. For this reason, the council was thoroughly impressed and awarded Kenobi the rank of Knight. Anakin knew about this and believed that he had sufficiently proved himself in many battles that he participated in, and thought himself on the same level with Obi-Wan Kenobi in that regard. Though the council was definitely hesitant of this, they kept him from being knighted for a long time, and soon, Anakin got it in his head that in order to become a Jedi Knight without facing the trials, it would mean defeating a Sith. This now adds to why Anakin decided to bum rush Dooku by himself instead of waiting for Obi-Wan. Still, even though many Jedi were knighted for surviving the Battle of Geonosis, Anakin was not, a fact that made him furious. In the Legends novel named Jedi Trial, it would be the Battle of Sitlin that would ultimately be the catalyst for Anakin's knighthood. Sitlin was a planet that had liberated themselves from separatist oppression and were under the occupancy of the Grand Republic. However, a Confederate tactician by the name of Porus Taunith launched a brilliant maneuver codenamed Operation Case White, which saw them secretly landing a massive battalion of battle droids and jamming the communications of the planet. They then outflanked the Republic command station and took the planet back without anyone in the wider Republic ever knowing about it. After some time, word of this would eventually reach the ears of the Republic, doing so in the form of an emergency frequency, and the Jedi Council decided to dispatch Jedi Master Ni-Ja and the Padawan Anakin Skywalker along with a regiment of Republic troops in order to aid. Once the two Jedi and the Republic troops broke through the blockade and began their operation to retake the world, they encountered a problem with Porus Taunith, realizing that he had taken most of the planet's government figures hostage. In response, Anakin would take a detachment of ARC troopers and storm the building in which the hostages were held, cutting through swaths of battle droids along the way. Anakin would liberate the hostages, but in the process, the chief administrator of the world would be shot and killed in the fray. Consumed by rage at this happening, Anakin took out his hate on the rest of the droids. As the commando team escorted the hostages to the extraction point, Anakin was separated them due to a sudden attack by more droids, and they were forced to leave the young Jedi behind. Now by himself, Anakin made his way back through the base to find Porus, which eventually he would. Anakin came very close to giving into his rage and killing the separatist tactician, but after hearing the voice of Qui-Gon, he relented and arrested him instead. But directly after this, an emergency transmission from the Separatists made it out, and Confederate reinforcements arrived in the form of a fleet in order to attack the liberating Republic forces. Entering their Jedi starfighters, Anakin and the other Jedi took to the atmosphere to shut down the reinforcements. The battle was all but lost until Anakin pulled off a suicidal attack run on the bridge of the command ship, successfully destroying the entire vessel. In the process, however, it was thought that Anakin had died. Later though, Skywalker showed up back on Coruscant, revealing that at the last minute, he had made a micro jump through hyperspace before the command ship was destroyed, showcasing his bravery and brilliant mind. But most importantly, this kind of self-sacrificial action was enough for Mace Windu and Yoda to begin deliberation over his immediate knighthood. Laying Anakin's life down on the line for innocence in this mission was certainly the Jedi way, and despite Anakin's track record, they could no longer procrastinate giving him the rank of Jedi Knight. Obi-Wan voted in favor of his knighting alongside Kit Fisto and Ki-Adi-Mundi, both who were zealously in favor of Anakin becoming a Jedi Knight. The choice to knight Anakin Skywalker, though, was still a controversial one considering his reputation, so Yoda decided to knight Anakin Skywalker in secret, where he himself would sever the young Skywalker's Padawan braid, and just like that, Anakin got what he wanted and skipped the Jedi trials, finally becoming a Jedi Knight. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this story, and the story of Anakin's knighthood? Do you believe that Anakin deserved to be knighted following the Battle of Geonosis, or was this the perfect opportunity to do so, putting his life on the line definitively for others? Also, does this change your view on what it meant to be a knight? As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the channel today. May the Force be with you, and have a great one.